So, hi, this is the Code of Creation audiobook with commentary. Alright, so then when you hear, whether it be 7 code, 911 code, 711, 311, 69, 91, 16, all of those codes are in fact complications of the basic code of creation. All right. So then, understanding that, if you look at the code of creation, the base code, all the rest then fall under that. Okay. So you understand this, the rest are very easy. All right. So that's what this is about. So I'm going to go ahead and show you. This is the first page, or the title page. It says Code of Creation 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Separated the 10 and the I.O., meaning that the 10 is the I.O. The 10 is your interception of that sign or wave or thought. And do you then interact with it? 1, yes, or 0, no. Dismiss it. Alright? That's what that talks about. However, this can happen at any time during a process, and I'll go through that as well. And he said unto them, Follow me, and I will make you fishers of men. Matthew 4:19. Now this drawing, if you take a look at it, you will see that it can be seen in many different orientations. And the reason being is if you take time, you will see that this is that who man I tell you about, who's in the casket of time. You'll see he's in the casket of time. All right, emanating from the position of creation, right, are the directional points that then bind him to the ground, to where the headless body of the who man, the cubed existence. Now you understand what the hidden hand means, the hidden hand and the phallus. Now you know what that symbology means. It is being jerked into its secretion, its energy, power into the tree. And if you flip this around, you would see that the who man, every liar in this system, is then milked to sustain this evil tree, this evil creation. As this is flipped, you'll see that these horns are in fact this who man's echoes into the system that keeps it elevated, keeps it into existence, because without this echo it would collapse upon itself. Right? Okay, so the introduction. What follows is a continuing description of the base code system of this place. This is the code of creation. This understanding of this truth requires you only know the intent of the user, the caster of words, stories, details you choose to receive into your temple mind. Spells have real power. They can move, shape, and or reshape one's mind. The truth and or fiction of the statement can be discerned. The freely given mind of Christ, that free gift given to all those whom Jesus Christ calls out of the multitude, the abyss, death itself, is left powerless over you. Mind. I have placed this at the beginning, so that the reader of these words, spells, will know that anything added to this is a complication of a basic and most simple truth. Alright? You did not choose me, but I choose you and appointed you so that you might go and bear fruit that will last, and so that whatever you ask in my name, the Father will give you. John 15:16. This day I call the heavens and the earth as witness against you, that I have set before you life and death, blessing and curses. Now choose life, so that you and your children may live. Deuteronomy 30:19. What I'm saying here is this, is that you are presented daily with a choice to die to the world or to live for Christ. To live for Christ is to put Christ first, always. All right? So then within this is really speaking about the IO here on the right-hand side. You have the IO, which in this case represents the 777. You see how it's a corrupted system because the input, which could be, you can see it's an eye, but also can be shaped as an ear, can be seen as an ear because it's just a description of an input. This goes into your mind. These ideas, these fallen ideas, then get reflected back into itself. It then gets enveloped by the lie because it is a fallen idea that you have to then keep alive by the serpent and or the details constantly feeding the operation of that mind, that mind that you have left into the world of Oz. All right. The beginning, separated, to know, to begin, to start. From nothing, with a tone, sound, let there be light, there was light. Within that light, time, a uncorrupted, non-destructive. A splinter, tear, reflected unto itself, the 33, a dueling set of sound, sine waves reflected into the mind of man. Let there 1, 2 be light 3, 4. Creation, fully formed 9, as a thought of the one. One is thrust, trust, headlong, mind, into time, concern. The 1, 0, the IO. Process comes into being. Time becomes it. In me. Me being the fallen mind of man, born into the waters of time itself. The cycle, the sine wave, the clock, those wheels, circuit, supporting those lights in the sky, sun, moon, stars, that never stray from their appointed course for the current time and season. This process taking time, consuming it, so that no one boast. This creation, this truth, does not regard itself with one's personal opinion. Opinion is it. The truth of the matter is not it. What it is, what is it? What makes it, what can also be called the matrix, work? Better to ask, how do I, meaning you, escape it? The question most minds will ask without truly wanting the simple truth of the simple answer. It is escaped only one way, one truth, and one life, light, Jesus Christ. Your spiritual rebirth into true life, walking on water above the cubed 6, 7, 8 system, the fray, the tear. And God said, let there be light, and there was light. Genesis 1:3. The crown, the light, the mind. 1, truth, lie. 2, fallen mind of it. Now throughout this, you will see that I separate words a certain way. That is for a reason. So it's easy to see with this one. The woe man, the idea of the woman being part of the man. It's all the same thing. It's all one body. All right, so just start from the beginning, and now we move into corruption. So the IO, the idea of, are you going to concern yourself? Are you going to turn that 0 blue and say, boo? The corruption into the mind of woman, the splinter, that split, that tear, and the truth allowed in, freed by self-will, a fallen light. That reflection by its self-deception became itself, a lover of its own light, its own fallen reflection. By its own power, it became its own creator. love with its own thought, desires, likes, dislikes, and truth, completely replaced by the fallen sine wave of fallen concern, light, opinion, kaleidoscope mind. That corruption is and can be seen by anyone, and in a mirrored reflection you will see that face of evil. The lie is in fact you. You became it. Transformat. Ion. The man has now become like one of us, knowing good and evil. He must not be allowed to reach out his hand and take also from the tree of life and eat and live forever. Genesis 1:22. Fallen Zion or mind state, truth or fiction. So then going back to the top, you can see that it's the corrupt. That is the source word. The corruption is of the corrupt. The IO is, of course, do you concern yourself with that fallen story? The woman, the idea of the Adam's rib idea. All right, the splinter, that rib idea, that split. Becoming free will itself. You deciding that your opinion matters. You become a lover of that opinion, a lover of yourself. By your own power, by your own reflection, you became your own creator. A love of your own thoughts, desires, likes, dislikes, and truth. You see that. Your kaleidoscope mind, the lie. It's 1,000 rainbows. You became it. Transformation, baby. You became a tranny. In love with your own self. A lover of self. That's what that actually means. It doesn't mean, come on now, people. You gotta step it up. The process, rainbow, crown. From a point, a state of rest, the mind is propelled forward. Truth, lie, a thought, idea, light, one, in manifest. That thought, good, bad, truth, lie, is going to be accounted for by it, meaning your physical body. That idea, light and or power, currency, will be either accepted without check, observation, verification, rejected without check, and or simply regarded without check. This becomes, transforms, regardless, a current, that open source of light that is to be remembered. 1. The light is taken in. It is given amounts of power, time consumption, proportional to the superstitiousness of that one's mind possessing after catching that casted spell. Test all thoughts, words that come into you. It is not to be trusted. Your temple, your piece of one's mind, a place reserved for your Creator, by the witness of your own mouth, sine waves, tones, tunes, manifestations. The process is made real by the one's action. You make known to me the path of life. You will fill me with joy in your presence, with eternal pleasures at your right hand. Psalm 16:11. This is the debased mind. First ring, 3. The one, red. The first point, a reference. The source is the one, the alpha, a power that rules them all. The key that holds the rings, 369. The one in of itself, all others. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 IO, input, output. This one One is the good, truth, or evil lie in and of itself discern. Discern. See the light idea cast of the reflected one to find the truth of intent of the caster. What that means is you have to look at the one given out. The one is inclusive of all the rest. When you are first shown that reflected lie, you can see it. If it is the truth, you can see it immediately with the mind of Christ. All right? So then you can find the truth of the intent of the caster, the one who's casting those spells. So this is important to understand when you go out to listen to witness. What is that person casting? All minds play the role of a caster. A caster is one that uses words, sign, seals, symbols to produce a result in the hearer of those words. Spells, the intent of the caster will determine the nature of that power. And it is power. Intent is cast by the movement of the body. Intent can be seen, observed. The actions of the one, which is it, made of what are its intentions. So you can see it for what its intentions are by observing it. Do you see that? All right. This is called the act or acknowledgement of thought itself. You might have heard before, I think one, therefore I am one. I think is the birth of corruption. It is not what goes in, but what comes out of the one that defiles it. I am is the result of the intent of the caster. Again, not the casted upon. One is added by me to explain that you are the one whose witness you need to verify. Let no man steal your crown. Peace, truth of Christ, true life. Behold, I am coming quickly. Hold fast what you have, that no one may take your crown. That is your mind. Revelation 3:11. Now the one just remember, you are the one. Just always remember that. You are the one that is in complete control of what comes into your temple. That temple that you are supposed to be kept swept clean for your Creator to then teach you with the Comforter, the mind of Christ, given to you, through which Jesus Christ told you he would leave you with it. And he's your friend, so he's not going to lie to you. The two, green, yellow, limelight. All right. The second point along the train of the thought, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, I-O, is the two. This is the concern. Con equals intent. Good, evil. Cern equals light or idea that you feel as if your attention should be used to understand the casted light and or idea. Right? This is the point of emotion and or to and fro, back and forth, oscillation, sine wave, etc. In short, it is the power and or what is driving woman in motion. The idea of the limelight, living in the limelight, all the world's a stage. Many use the saying without knowing what it means or why they did. Know the meaning of the spells, words you cast, use, even internally. Why did you say that? The words you use, test before you say, use them. Yellow and green are known as additive primary colors, making the third color, and in order to red, blue. A ring, tone, tune. The yellow is used to show the fallen concern overtaking the green or true reflex reaction or grounding. A Psalm of David. Fret not thyself because of evildoers, neither be thou envious against the workers of iniquity, for they shall soon be cut down like the grass, and wither as the green herb. I added tokes, by the way. Psalms 37. I'm going to end this one with the 2 and with the next picture on the next page, which is this picture. And you'll notice that at top is John 17, which please take a look at. The idea equals light, truth, concern, or untruth. The chevron, the authority. The idea of Jacob's ladder. The idea of the 3, the G, the 7. The idea of the building concern, the pyramidal structure of the mind. The ever-encapsulated circuit of the 8, or the cycle of the 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0. Take a close look at how you get out of that, right there in the center. It's always available to you, because you can escape the angel in the whirlwind, that angle, that story, that mind of error. All right? See you for the next part, which is going to be continuing on. Now, this is still the debased mind, or the first ring. The reason I left it for a second part is that you saw 1 and 2. This next part, the 3, is where you see the 33 symbology. Whenever you see the 33 symbology, it's the idea of that first 1, 2 combining into the 3, reflecting unto itself. But it also reflects unto itself, so there's a shadow cast. All right? So I wanted to talk to you about this separately, because this is, you have to remember now there's a shadow cast from that first 1, 2. We're now into the 3 before you go into that door, before you really start to put that body into motion. All right? That's where we are in the thought. All right? The 3. The first completed ring, tone, tune, wave, blue, black, bruised, fact, law, truth, lie. The 3. The first moment, the thought, light, truth fiction becomes powerful to the point of capture. Butterfly symbology idea. The momentum, the taking away of the soul, your peace, your mind, and in turn your body. Movement that will take time to reconcile with facts. Details you have animated with the tone. The first ring, 3. This then rings into life, into a belief, thought, truth, lie. The devil, lie, is in the details. The 3 is time coming into existence within you, living in you, your serpent, freed will, you living for it. The original sin sign is thinking you can do this alone without your creator. Freed by the fallen idea, serpent tone, the lie that you can be your own power, determine truth from fiction. You cannot without the truth, light, living water of Jesus Christ, the one true light and mind of creation itself. Anyone who listens to the word but does not do what it says is like someone who looks at his face in a mirror and after looking at himself goes away and immediately forgets what he looks like. James 1:23-24. See that we're already almost halfway through. The body, second ring, 6. If you notice, the idea of not only news, NEWS, but the idea of direction, north, east, south, west. The idea of the who man there past that reflected mirror, instead of reflecting on life itself given through Jesus Christ, he the who man, is reflecting on that fallen world, that dead body that propels it through so-called life in this fallen place. The body, second ring, 6. The 4, door, window, entrance. Think of in trance. I'm in a trance. And in trance as well, a door, a window. The 4 is the point in invested time, seconds, minutes, hours, months, years, lifetime, in truth, reality, or lie, so-called reality. I'll take a moment here. This is where you have those people who misuse words and make strange claims that are you a this or are you a that? When it deals with truth, you can't be a this or a that. The truth is, regardless of what you think you are or are not. What you are is irrelevant to what is true, period. So then when you see people of that mindset, you know to dismiss them for the moment at least, because they're still wandering. They're still out in the desert. So then when you see these so-called, those that claim Christ, well, they claim to follow Jesus, and they say that. So I have to hear that, and I do hear it. And then I'll see the occasional scripture put up, but I'll see no meat attached. It's always just the bone. No there, nothing there. So then I'm like, how long do people say the God bless and this and that and the rest? How long have you gone to that table and gnawed on that bone and gotten nothing? Because they offer you nothing. They offer you their fallen opinion because they are not of Christ. They are of their own fallen mind. Test the fruits. And that's the thing. Most don't even give you that. Most just give you pictures of stuff that they took from other people. That's all they can offer you, is other people's stuff. And it's stuff to them. It means nothing to them. It's just stuff because they didn't do it, so it has no meaning. If you don't do something, it doesn't mean anything. Wasted time is for the dead-minded. Therefore the minds, those minds stuck in time, are within the fallen existence. The cube, the 6, 88, 6. Remember how I told you that the 6, you push it together, it makes the 8, the 6, the 6, the 6, the 9. Everything's just a combination. It's like the cube within your hand. Alright? It's that magic cube that you twist and you turn and you wish on. News, north, east, west, south, directions given to you. That the one concern lets the doorway, the window, the dalet, to your mind, your soul, beliefs, is caused to claim ownership of said idea, light, truth, and or even fiction. Alright? The 4 is the idea, showing you it at the window, doing the little jiggy, doing the little dance for you at the door of the window, saying, hey, you want me to come in? Presented as a flat offering. Squared circle, 34, 43, that idea, that reflected 7 of reason. That with details, remember I told you that devil in the details, that 8, will expand and form the set or structure of that idol 9. That mind, you know, that idol that you finally, that the end of that thought, you're like, okay, great, whoop, I'm going to move on that idol. The one's future existence within the mind propelled along by the body of the casted upon woman. All minds are controlled, period, by the truth and light of Christ, or by the fallen mind. All right, the fallen Christ. All right. Are you of the fallen light, or the truth and life of the true Christ, light of your Creator? The question is, are you one or are you one with? That's the question. Are you one of or one with? This idea, light, will grow regardless of its truth or fiction, as long as the casted upon participate in the active and continuing casting. See, it takes someone's active participation for its continuation. Leave the liars and unprofitable to themselves. Separate yourself. First, mind, the body will follow. Have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be frightened. Do not be dismayed, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go. Joshua 1:9. All right, the 5 woman's senses. This is everyone's favorite. It's the 5. It's the see, smell, taste, touch, hear, a form. Right? This is where the idea has a perceivable form, a type and a shadow given to the one. That's you, remember. Because recall, this thought's coming from somewhere. You ever ask yourself, where'd that thought come from? The base physical earthly senses of woman. With this you are held to the physical nature of the one. This is where a physical description can be made of the idea. Tell me about it. One can fall into love with an aspect of any of these senses, and thus become a slave to one's owned desires. This can also be seen in the physical makeup of the woman to the external view of the natural body. A woman hung unto the cross of concern, hangs on the promise of detail. Then the Lord God formed the man of dust from the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and the man became a living creature. Genesis 2:7. This is the 6. This is containment. The 6 is where that containment happens. The captured, fluttering butterfly. Now remember, you, the one, have a fully formed idea, light, to a very dulled point, more just a glimpse. So you're fluttering and you're glimpsing. The point is still unfocused, but somewhat viewable. Interesting, that leads your mind into temptation. That butterfly then flutters towards that light. This is the idea of type and shadow. This is the containment, the 6, the 7, 8, the idea. Let me pause here, the cube of understanding here. Let me pause here. Remember, I told you, you put that idea in your hand. How do you contain a box? A box. Think of a box. Something that is presented to you as a package. It has 6 sides and 8 corners. Within that box, it's unknown until you can view it. That unknown is the 7, the mind. It is the purpose of the box. All right. Of details to will support, idea, light. Brought into one's temples. Come on, that's your temples, your mind. That's what you bring in there. Regardless of it being truth and or fiction. The one's power of belief will supersede any outward or inward facts or clues if those conflict with what the one desires and or wants to believe. Do you see that? So logic will not have power over you because your wants and your needs and your desires will supersede logic. That is how you allow your mind to overpower your true mind of Christ, and then you are then led into temptation. All right. The truth exists regardless of the one's interactions with it via the senses. C5. A lie requires the one's interaction to maintain its life cycle. You understand that. A lie requires the one's. That's you, the one. The lie requires you to interact with it to maintain its life cycle. The lie, however, requires the belief, the care of the one and those common purpose with the one fallen mind, meaning you and those that also believe that same silly lie you do. Just recall that the details are always going to be slightly different. It's like you're a bunch of geeks at a D&D festival. You're all going to have a slightly different idea of how something's supposed to happen. You're a bunch of nerds. It doesn't matter anyway. You're all of a fallen mind. It's all one. You're all in what's called a common purpose. The one being the woman's mind, and the mirror reflected one being the system of influence on that one mind. All right. So the one, you are that one, and then that reflected mirrored idea, mind, being the influence, and that becoming, you two becoming one, two into one. You become that one mind. All right. The mind of Christ or of the fallen Christ, two. There are only two options. So were you those two that were pushed together? Or were you always the one, that one mind of Christ given to you? Because you died to this world when you became part of Christ. Jesus Christ took you, rescued you, took you in. For the pagans, run after all these things. And your heavenly Father knows you need them. But seek ye first His kingdom and His righteousness, and all these things will be given to you as well. Matthew 6, 32, 33. All right? Oh, and there's the picture of the containment. It'll be leading into the next bit, because remember, I always told you there's always between each aspect of a thought being built and either rejected or expounded upon, there's always the overlay. All right? So you see here the idea of you're still there, you're observing your own thought, you know better, however, that the lie captured your fluttering butterfly within the cage, right? The cat of 9 tails captured you, and your shadow is starting to erase because you are becoming part of something else, a different race. You're becoming part of the lying race of the world. Remember, as you know, the idea of the mind, you're reflecting, across this space, a captured idea, that butterfly I told you about, that butterfly's reflection within the next world, which is this physical realm, away from your mind is where it's propelled. And you see, it's the Jacob's ladder, the idea of the 88, the 69, the idea of time, moving that idea of Jacob's ladder, or the antennae, your antenna, what drives you through time, through the Jacob's ladder, moving that spark up and down. The soul, 3rd ring, 9. The 7, fulfillment, ideas, mind. severity, motivation, space that allows detail, imagination. The 7, the Zion, the mind. In the case of a lie, the mind weapon, that crooked stick, the club, the blackjack. 21, 777. 12, reduced to 3. In truth and the lie is the motivator, is the drive, etc. The 7, the Zion, the returned mindset. This is that wonder-filled place, if one allows, will be corrupted, left to be filled with the disembodiment of the fallen lie or light, spirit of error, of the so-called world, this place. Not to be confused with the earth. The mind is within the body and is the world. The earth is where one stands and is a plane, a sea, think eyes, sea, think ocean, level with deviations called depth and elevation. This, like all numbers in this mindset, is compoundable for increased effect and or desired direction in EWS, news, of those ones infected by its influence. And this is the testimony God has given us, eternal life. And this life is in His Son. Whoever has the Son has life. Whoever does not have the Son of God does not have life. 1 John 5, 11, 12. Now again we spoke about that 8 and that reflection of the butterfly, the idea of that captured power, the ever-eating snake eating its tail, the 69. Time, taking that spark up and down your spine. The 8, limits of thought, outside parameter, point of addition to outside gate, fence. The 8 is the expandable outside dimension, expanding limits of your mind, meaning you can always be subject to updates, flashes, concern, changes, all fueled to what is known. A thought is to be, in the case of a lie, as it only truly exists in the collective mind of those ones participating in the fallen light idea and or story tale. Your thoughts or depth, think depth, oh, aren't you so smart, of knowledge of the subject of the one, that thought, idea, light. The 8 is the detail of the system. As long as there is interest shown by any one individual, separated mind, that means if there's any, even one individual, separated mind, within the shared fallen mind matrix, continuing, the system of liar continues. Meaning that there's going to be what? Details will be constructed, produced, and or used for the betterment of that one mind, for no other reason than self-gluttony and fallen pride of the counterfeit knowing. That's why this place will never stop, because there's always corruption. Because where there's an opening, corruption will fill. The food, meat for the fallen mind, will eat time. Your time is spent on this light. Thought will become that of the idol. Its will exists because you spoke. Thought wills it into existence. It, the idol, exists for the 9. Tet, your fallen temple's mind offensive set. 69, idea flipped opposite. Constraint, self-consumption. For many deceivers have gone out into the world, those who do not confess the coming Jesus Christ in the flesh. Such a one is the deceiver and the antichrist. 2 John 7. The 9, the idol, what you, one, play with. control or control, the truth complete or the lie in flux movement. Time is as it has since the separation, in constant movement, flux forward. While one can cast the mind back into the past, memories are subject to unseen influences and prejudices. All truth will be revealed by the mind of Christ alone. All men are in fact liars, born into a system that is corrupted. This must be understood in order to see the precarious placement of your life in this place when you become aware. The 9 is the idol, the time. In the case of truth, that time is life. In the case of the lie, and any lie is in fact an idol. The fallen light, idol, 9, offers nothing but death to the one, that again is you, remember, that worships it, gives it time, believes it in any way, shape, or form. In order to now see how the one mind is then brought into the lion's mouth daily by the free-willed fallen self-will, is by the consumption of the third ring, that 9, that idol among many in one's mind. Because that's just one of many in your mind. You got they're stacked one upon another. It's a mess. It is feedback into the cube, which 6 talked about above. Right? I told you that before. Right? The 6, 9, 6. Right? Eat, cancer, eating, equaling the 21. Remember I told you back above, the 21, the 777. The blackjack to the mind. The rut 3. This leaves your first ring, 3. Your mind, your own mind, rejected from your own thoughts. You have become owned thoughts. Your 3's rejected. You are in the 69 fallen cancer system. You have been turned into 1, the who, woe man. Your thoughts are in fact not your own. Without the saving grace and free gift offered you, you will surely die. To this fallen, mind stuck in 6-9 time. World each time and every time. That's fact. Alright? Do not love the world or the things in the world. If anyone loves the world, the love of the Father is not in him. For all that is in the world, the desires of the flesh and the desires of the eyes and the pride of life, is not from the Father, but is from the world. And the world is passing away along with its desires. But whoever does the will of God abides forever. 1 John 5:15-17. All right? And then any notes, please send them to me here. It keeps saying here on the pages, which is fine. I'll get it there as well. But it was supposed to be this one, but either one will get me if you enjoyed this. Thanks. Cheers. Have a great one.